My name is Kimora, and I read. Obviously. In today's video, for my first official video, I thought that I should do what I read in August. I have read, I'm gonna count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think officially 13 books, including the ones I DNF'd. I'm going to go by, I'm not going to rank them. It cut me out. I don't know if I should do it in the order that I read them in, or if I should do it in I'm just going to do it in the order that I read it in, instead of ranking, doing it in rank order. So if we're going by that, I gotta change some things. I got my Goodreads up. We love her. I guess that's what we'll start with. We'll start with Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I read this on August 4th and I gave it a 3-star. I do not care about Ford or Rosie. I love the ending of the book. I think that they're an okay couple. It's just, it wasn't anything interesting. This is my problem with first books in series. If I can get through the first book, we're fine. You know what I'm saying? It was the same thing for me for Flawless and Off to the Races. I could care less about either one of those couples, but it did its job with trying to get me interested in the series. This series, I think they're all single dads, pretty sure. And in this book, I'm just gonna spoil them. So spoiler alert, in this book, we follow Ford. He's a billionaire? Yeah, world's hottest billionaire, by the way. And he finds out that he has a daughter because he gave sperm, did sperm donation. And that daughter that came from that sperm is not called him up. She goes to where he lives and he's like, hey, you're my father. My dad just passed away and my mom's not doing great. So can you help? And he's like, why not? Because he's not a bad dude. And he's like, why? I'll do it. So yeah. And then we have Rosie, who that's why I never rated this book really high. I can barely remember what goes on, but I do know for a fact that this is a best friend sister romance where Rosie is the sister of Weston in the second book. You'll hear about that in a second. And I think they both have been in love with each other for a fair amount of time, but okay, they're like, we like each other, but we're gonna keep it hidden from each other, but it's blatantly obvious that we like each other, obviously. Am I invading your personal space? I'm getting closer. The second book I read of August is Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, the second book in the Rose Hill series. That other one was the first one. I gave this a 4-star and I read it on August 6th. I love, that's a horrible face to make. I love Weston and Skylar. Skylar is a singer and she hasn't had the best of luck recently, and what it says on the back of the book is she's had a strike of bad luck in the press recently. And Weston is a single dad of 2, and she basically goes to Rose Hill. Is that the place that it's called in the series? Hold on, she basically goes to Rose Hill to record a song with Ford Grant, because in the first book he owns a studio record label. Don't quote me on any of this. He owns a record label in the first book, and she kind of wants to reclaim her name because she doesn't own anything of any kind of music she makes. You know how it goes. Her parents own the rights. She's trying to reclaim her identity by making a new song, and she kind of neat. At the beginning of the book, she almost gets attacked by a bear, and Weston State saves her. Can I speak? And Weston saves her. One thing I will say for sure is that we love Weston. She also has a strong relationship with his kids. One of his kids, he doesn't talk. He's not mute or deaf or anything. He just chooses not to talk. And she basically is like one of the only people that he talks to, and the only other people he talks to is like family members and stuff. So it's like a big thing that he's talking to her, and they're all like, don't mess this up because we like her. Don't run her away because we like her. Okay. And I really do. One thing I will say, if I can get my thoughts together, I do like Skylar's character. I think I rank this book so high because of how strong-willed she is as a character. It's beautiful to see like her become her own person outside of who her parents want her to be, controlling and all that stuff, just become who she is and not care about anything, just herself. She's becoming her own person. But I will say that I did love this, and Elsie Silver writes books beautifully. I haven't said it over because this is my first video, but I've said it to myself a lot that I absolutely love the way that she writes. It feels like very poetic, like very metaphorical, and she did it a lot in the Gold Rush Ranch series. The way that the characters would describe the other characters and vice versa would be very like done with love and attention and intent and looking for the word. Yeah, obviously, because I can't think of it. I'm gonna leave it there. But I gave this a 4. I think I gave it more than 4 stars, but I don't have that on my Goodreads. It just says 4 stars, so we'll just say 4 stars. It might be more. Who knows? I don't know. Do you? No, you don't. That's okay. And then we have the 3rd book and the latest book in the Rose Hill series. The 4th one and final one does not come out until the 9th, and I am crying inside. This one is Wild Side. This one follows Tabitha and Reese. I didn't hate this book. Let's see what my ratings were. I gave it a 4 star, and I think I gave Wild Eyes more than a 4 star because I don't like this one as much as Wild Eyes, but I like it more than Wild Love. I'm looking at my good. I think I gave it less of a rating than Wild. You get what I'm trying to say. This one follows Tabitha and her sister. Content warning. Her sister Odise, if I remember correctly, and she. Thank you. You better said it. You better should have said excuse you. Not excuse you. Bless you. Thank you. I'm gonna sneeze again. But this book, does it give content warnings? I think it gives content warnings. I also have the special edition. If you have the special edition, you know what I'm talking about. I think this gives content warnings. I'm not quite sure, but content warning. It does talk about grief a lot, and it also does handle the discussion of drugs, substance abuse. Does it substance abuse or is it just drugs? I don't know. Don't ask me, but I'm trying to give you a content warning. But there's not much I have to say about this book, but I will, for people who want a synopsis of it. It follows Tabitha and Reese. I've said that, of course. Tabitha loses her sister, and she is, let me get this right. She and Reese, towards the beginning of the book, are fighting over, like, guardianship over her nephew. I'm trying to remember his name, but it's just not coming to terms. Because Reese, how do I explain it? how do I explain it? This is why I'll never be a writer. Because Reese was like a friend, like a family, not a family friend. He was a friend to Tabitha's sister, and he basically, you find out that he helps out with like the kid. What's the kid's name? I feel as though I should know these things. What's the kid's name? Is it Milo? It is Milo. It's Milo because I was like, that sounds like a dog's name. But he has basically, in her sister's will, she gives guardianship to Reese, if I remember correctly. And they don't like each other. I'm all over the place. And they don't like each other because Tabitha makes him a promise when her sister moves, like, I'm trying to remember what it's called, but I don't remember what it's called. Her sister is his tenant, and she basically makes him promise that he will take care of her sister and Milo. And then she ODs, and so she doesn't like him because she thinks that he's the reason why, and he's not. And he doesn't like her because he thinks that she's not a good sister because her sister like told him that she's not a good sister, she's a horrible sister, she's not really that good of a sister. And he was like, I don't like her, but I'm not quite sure if that's true. And so basically they have an arranged marriage so he can stay in Canada because he's not Canadian. He's from Florida, if I remember correctly. He's from Florida. And they basically have an arranged marriage. And it's a really cute book. I just suck at describing things. I do recommend reading all 3 of these books. Every single one of Elsie Silver's books. Look at them. That's not Elsie Silver. But look at them. They're so cute. Also, what you will realize with a lot of books is that the cover of the book, oh my god, they look so pretty together. The cover of the books have something important to do with them. Oh yeah. Skylar has a bird named, what's the bird's name? When I was reading the book, I got mad at myself because I couldn't remember the bird's name, and now I can't remember the bird's name. It's something funny, and I just can't remember it for the life of me. Someone tell me someone remind me what the bird's name is. And then, since they're getting married, there's this, and he is a wrestler. He's an entertainment wrestler, and so he wears a luchador mask. I suck at explaining things. Don't ask me. 4 stars. Did I tell you when I read it? I'm just gonna tell you anyways. I read it on August 11th. And now we get into the fun part. I just went out of order when I did this, but it's fine. I'm not gonna do them in order because most of these books I've read 2 of by the same author, so I'll just do it this way. I read the is it a duology? I think it is. I don't know why it would have more books. I read the Out on the Limb duology by, stay with me here, Hannah Boehm Young. I hope I said it right. The first book is called Out on the Limb, and it follows Winifred, or Win for short, and Bo. They end up sleeping together at her best friend's Halloween party, which it follows her best friend and her best friend's husband in the second book, but we'll get to that. And they sleep together, and they kind of bond over the fact that they both are disabled in a sense. She's got an underdeveloped right hand. Yeah. She's got an underdeveloped right hand, and he lost his leg. This is what happens when you film when there's people home. And he has they both have it on their right side. He's also has an amputated right leg. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was like cancer or something, if I'm not mistaken. And basically, what I like about this book is that the author, I believe, she gives you like a little author's note in the beginning of every single one of her books, and she talks about how she also was born with limb differences, is what she calls it, like underdeveloped, but you get what I'm trying to say. And it's she's kind of like pulling from personal aspects of her life, and I really did love this book. The witty banter. I love this. They kind of hit it off at the beginning of the book, and it's not more so like will they, won't they, it's if can they, if that makes any sense, because she gets pregnant accidentally, and it's kind of like they want to be together, but it could go wrong. And they also have a kid, they're having a kid together, so they don't want to ruin it. But she kind of lives in a bad place. They move in together, and they're kind of like learning how to live life together while also falling in love. And I fucking love this book. I love it so much. They're just so cute. And I gave this book I think I gave it a 4.2 stars, and I read it on August 7th. Out of the Woods. Isn't it? I don't know. Did I say that right? It's fine. Oh my god, why can't I remember the book's name? Out of the Woods. Jesus Christ. Out of the Woods follows Sarah and Caleb. They are high school sweethearts. They're also the best friends of Wen from this book. They started dating early in high school. I think they were both 14, if I remember correctly. This book handles the topic of grief. She does it fairly well, might I add. And it's obvious, they're high school sweethearts, and it's kind of like a finding yourself story after not having the chance to. She lost her mom when she was 19, shortly after they got married. She's what was I trying to say? She lost her mom shortly after they got married when she was 19, and she's kind of been like a housewife ever since then. And I think they're in their 30s. They've been together 17 years. So she kind of is trying to find herself again. And what was I thinking? I feel like there's a glare because of my glasses, and now I have to look down like this, like I'm goddamn Jim Carrey. Hope I'm not saying the wrong person, and I'm not googling it to make sure. You're just gonna have to go with that. Wonderful. And they got married super young because her mom, I think, has ALS, if I remember correctly what she has, and they wanted to get married so she could be there for the wedding. They also did it because they wanted to marry each other. And we fast forward 17 years later, her mom has passed away. Not recently, it's been 11 years since her mom passed, if I believe correctly. And she hosts this fundraiser, I do remember, and they aren't making enough money. So Caleb decides to donate to the fundraiser, and they get in an argument, and they kind of stop talking to each other. They're in the same house. They're married, by the way. And she kind of is coming to like a quarter life crisis where she hasn't achieved what she's wanted to achieve because of all the things that have happened in life. And like Caleb is like their sole provider, and she kind of wants to make a name for herself, I guess. And they're not talking, and so Winifred, her best friend from the last book, suggests that they go on this couples retreat to kind of get to know each other better, and kind of there's a fly in my room. There's two. Ignore those. Ignore them. Stop. They kind of go, she suggests that they go on a couples retreat. Golly. Oh my God. Go away. Why? They weren't here before. And if they were, I didn't notice them. And they go on this couples retreat to kind of rekindle their relationship and kind of, I didn't pick my notes, you picked your notes, and kind of discuss things to get on a better, to kind of rekindle their relationship, kind of. Do you look lopsided? You look a little lopsided. You okay there? It's okay. And they go on this couples retreat, and they kind of, and it's not like they're going to break up, like one of those, like, it's not one of those, like, will they break up because they can't rekindle what they had. It's kind of like getting to know each other again, because you're not those kids anymore that you were when you first met, right? And so she kind of comes to the realization that she does want to pursue her passions that she once had, and he's kind of coming to the realization that he does not want to be his father. He doesn't want to be absent, always working, and they kind of figure out who they are, what they want to do for the rest of their lives within the next 10 years, basically. And this book is like a really good book for people who like don't want a romance but don't want to have to go through all the hoops where they get to know each other, blah blah blah. They just are getting to know each other and kind of figuring out who they are. You saw it, didn't you? Figure out who they are at this place in their life. And then, you know those like, you don't worry about him cheating, you worry about him dying things. I just hit my chair. That's what happens. He doesn't die. Spoiler alert. It's just that I need to look down because it's just that he almost dies, and I hate those. I was like, okay, they're beating it over your head that they're not gonna break up. I was like, okay, so what's gonna happen? He literally almost gets himself killed for protecting this kid. Like, we love this kid. Like, we like this kid. And he almost gets himself killed trying to save her. He saved her. But it's a beautiful book. And her writing is amazing. I guess I'm a sop for things like these. And I don't know if I told you my rating. I have to scroll up because I'm not doing this in order. I read this on August 24th, and I gave it a 4-star. I can't wait to read Next of Kin, which is the next book I have from her. So if we are going back down to try to stick to some order, I read my third ever. Where are they? They're right here. You see those? See these? Wrong book. I grabbed the wrong book. You see these? All right. I read my third ever Rebecca Searle book called The Expiration Date. I've got thoughts about this one, so stick with me. I read this on August 18th, and I gave it a 3-star. All of her books are 3 stars for me. They're like 3 stars in a good way. They're 3 stars in a good way. So basically, this book follows Daphne, and she's a sole believer that the universe has a plan from her. I'm just reading off the back of the book. And every time she is getting ready to get in a relationship, she gets this piece of paper with the person's name and how long they will be together. One day, she gets a piece of paper with the guy's name Jack on it, and it doesn't have an expiration date on it. It doesn't have a date or anything. And so she thinks that he's the one. She goes on a date with him. They kind of get in a relationship, and I'm like, are we supposed to like him? Because I'm not disliking him, but he's okay, I guess. And so the more we read this book, you're like, okay, so he's not the one, because you get introduced to this guy named Hugo. Question mark? Yeah. He was her ex-boyfriend, and they dated for 3 months. And so you kind of realize, like, okay, what's going on? She and Hugo have this really good relationship. They were only together for 3 months, and you can tell he's in love with her, because you only do those things with someone you're in love with. Like, they go on like a friend date every week and stuff like that. And spoiler alert, you find out that he was the one who left the paper. She gets these papers with an expiration date on it, and he went to her house one day. He saw the paper on her doorstep, like her doormat, and it had a date on it. I think it said 3 weeks or something, or 5 days or something like that. And he changed the paper to say nothing. So, it's not a piece of paper, it's a Post-it note. It's like one of those postcards, if I remember correctly. And basically, he leaves a date off of it because he wants her to stop worrying about time so much and stuff like that. He wants her to get her happy ending because she deserves it. Because she's so caught up on expiration dates and stuff that she's not enjoying her time with someone. And they find this out, and, things start to come alight, and you're like, when you read the book, it's not a very long book, by the way, but you're like, they're not a good couple. It's okay. And within this book, you also get like the other guy she dated, and it was like each book guy was there for a reason. It was there for a lesson. And I kind of perceive the postcards as more so like when she would like start to become uninterested more than when the time was up. But that's just me. It could be that it was just how long she was going to be in a relationship with him. But I believe every person who's dating in their 20s should read this book. This is a good book. I like this book. My next book I have for you First Time Caller by B.K. Borson. I didn't like this book. I gave it 3 stars. I read it on the 20th of August. Thoughts. People said that this book was seamless in Seattle, but Baltimore. Which was true. It was true. It had the plot of she has a kid. Her kid calls in, talking to Aiden, trying to find love for her mom because she's like, you're lonely, girl. And Lucy, if that's how you say her name, is kind of, I hated this book. Don't ask me anything that happened in it. Don't, because I didn't like it. I hated it. It was giving for the first few pages, and then it got into the plot of like I really don't remember anything that happened in this book. It got into the plot where it was basically they kind of get her into the talk show to find her love, and I just tuned it all out from there. I could care less about this book. I read it because I liked the cover of this one and the second one. The second one follows Aiden's best friend, work friend, whatever you want to call him. And I think the weather girl from the same broadcast. Don't ask me anything about the second book because it's not out yet. And I was like, I want to read the second one so bad. So I read this one. Hated it. Get away. I hated it so much. Literally, I promise you, they just got in here. What are they in here for? I don't know. I did not know. They've not been in here this entire time. All right. Okay. Let's get these 2 out. Disclaimer. Can you see them on my bookshelf? Right there. What I'm about to show you. I love an Allie Hazelwood book. But I hated these Allie Hazelwood books. I gave Not in Love. I didn't give it a rating. I didn't give it a rating because I DNF'd it. I gave myself 100 pages to read a book, and if I don't like it by then, I DNF it. And then I read the ending of the book, and I was like, I'm so glad I didn't read the middle of it. I didn't give it a rating, but I did read it on August 20th. And I can't give any hate thoughts because I didn't read the whole thing, but the first part of the book was confusing, so I was like, I reread it twice just so I knew I wasn't confused. And I absolutely hated it. So we DNF'd this one. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it 3 stars for what I read. Didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. And we have to skip a little bit ahead because did I not do the thing for this one? Did I? I swear to God I did. I also DNF'd this one. And I hard DNF'd these two. And that's why I wouldn't tell you guys about them if I soft DNF'd them. Meaning I would probably read them again. But I'm not reading this again. I don't care for it. I read this one because I was like, ooh, Problematic Summer Romance. That's the first time I've got that name right on the first try. And then I started reading it, and it was not interesting. I gave it 100 pages. It disappointed me. So we DNF'd it. The next one. This is why you don't film when people are home. The next one that we have is Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I read this one. If you watch the movie, like, of course, like, it's not the same thing, but it was okay. I gave it a 2-star because it wasted my time. It's 500 pages of I don't care. Like, you want to read about President Snow's past, and then you read it, and you're like, okay. So, for future instances, I hope to read Sunrise on the Reaping before I see the movie. These books were better than the movie. Where is it? Where is better than the movie? She's back there somewhere. I don't know. But I don't care for this one. It sucked. It's 500 pages. It's 500 pages of descriptive writing about things I could care less about. I love her. We love Suzanne Collins. I've never heard anybody say her name before, surprisingly. But I could care less about this book. I don't think this month was a good month for me. Next we have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. Hope I'm saying her name right. I read this on August 25th and I gave it a 4-star. We love this one. All of her books have the plot of magical realism. This is my 4th one? Yeah, my 4th one by her. This book follows Joni and Sebastian Stan. Killing all of these. And she's a songwriter, and he's the son of a of an artist, and he's also an artist too, and they kind of meet at a concert for one of the singers that I think they both wrote a song for her, but not together, and they kind of meet and they get on the Jumbotron and they kiss, and then she goes home. We fast forward the day, and she goes home to her family in North Carolina, Vienna Shores, which I don't know if that's a real place. It might be. And she goes home to visit her family because her mom has early onset dementia, I think. This just was a depressing month for reading, I guess. And she wants to spend as much time with her as she can before she sadly passes away, which she does. And there are there are 2 kind of magical realism plot elements. They can hear each other's inner thoughts. They also are hearing the same song. Oh my god, I fucking love that plot element. They both are hearing the same song, and they both think that if they get together and write the song, they'll be able to get out of each other's heads and stop hearing the song. So he comes down to Vienna. She finds out that it's Sebastian. She didn't know that it was him, by the way. They didn't know it was each other that they were hearing, and she goes down and they realize that they're hearing each other, and they kind of kindle a relationship while writing this song. She also has writer's block, so this is kind of helping her get into the midst of writing, and she's kind of handling, like, I don't want to say she's having a quarter life crisis. She's kind of like figuring out whether or not she really does love what she's doing where she's doing it, because she's missing all of this. We know, we can hear you. And she's realizing that she might not like living in LA, because she's missing out on all of this important stuff going on with her parents, her brother, and her best friend, because they're together. And she's kind of going through the works of it all. She moved to LA to pursue her dreams of songwriting at a young age, and her mom was a singer in a band, in the same band that Sebastian's father was in. And it's a beautifully written song, and I feel this is a book, and I don't think I'm doing it justice by describing it, but spoiler alert for anybody who wants spoilers, who doesn't like reading but just wants to hear people rant about the book. We find out that the song they're hearing in their heads was the song that I can't talk today, can I? Was the song that both of their moms were writing together. Sebastian's mom passed away in a car accident, if I firmly believe, and her mom is getting dementia. And we find out from her mom that, one, they knew each other, by the way, and two, that the song that Joni and Sebastian are hearing is the song that their the moms were working on together, which was a really cute element. And I was like, oh, and I cried like a baby. So I might have given this a higher rating, but I don't remember. I love this book, and I love all of her writing. And I think that if you're going to read any book, I would start with hers, because it's as good as it is hyped. It's good. I love them. I love this book. Follow it up with a really bad one. I read Love Redesigned on August 26th. I gave it a 2-star. This book follows Julian and Dahlia. That's all you need to know. It wasn't a good book. If we include the epilogue, just reading, not the acknowledgments. Hold on, give it a second, because it's a long It's 514 pages. I read this on my Kindle. Not my Kindle. My Kindle app on my phone. I could give a damn about this book. It's a horrible book. Not horrible in the sense of like it was written bad. It's written good, but I could care less. When we got to the part where they were like looking for information on a house, I'm just gonna give it to you because I don't care about this book. When they were in the library looking for information on the house that they bought, girl, when I tell you, I was like, oh, so it's gonna be one of these books. No plot. It had a plot, but it was just like doing stuff for the benefit of doing stuff, I feel. And that might not be everybody's opinion, but I absolutely despise this book. And I DNF'd the other two ones. You see them on my bookshelf? They're DNF'd. I wanted to read Love Unwritten because it's a single dad trope, and I love those. But I could not for the life of me give a damn. It's 600 and something pages. The longest book that I read that was that long was ACOTAR, and I loved that. And I don't do, if a romance book is over 400 pages, over 450 pages, there's no plot. There's no plot. You're just doing stuff to do stuff. 2 stars. And the last book I read for this month, like the full book, I tried attempting to read another book and I just couldn't get through. I haven't gotten through it yet. I haven't DNF'd it, but I haven't gotten through it. Was my first ever Frida McFadden book, Never Lie. I gave this a 3 stars. I read it on August 28th. Everybody was like, the plot for her books are predictable, or they're so unpredictable that once you read her first book, you're going to be thinking of the most outlandish things for the next ones. And I was like, so I was thinking very outlandishly. I was like, my first thought was, okay, so maybe the main character killed her. But I was like, why would the main character ever kill this woman that she's saying she doesn't know? Spoiler alert. There you go. I could have... That was the plot. But for those of you who want to know, this book follows the newlyweds, Trisha and Ethan. They're going up to this house. It's kind of secluded. It's about 1.5 miles, I think, from the nearest house. Like, that's how close they are to the nearest house. And they get snowed in at this house that they were going up to tour. I won't spoil it for you out of the gate, but the realtor that they were supposed to meet wasn't there, and they're kind of snowed in. So they go to the house, they kind of make themselves comfortable, and while the main character Trisha is looking for a book, she pulls out The Shining, I believe, and she finds a secret door, if I'm not mistaken, to a like room, and it's filled with cassette tapes of by the way, the previous house owner, Dr. Hale, was it Adrian, I think was her name. I'm just gonna call her Dr. Hale because I never know if I'm pronouncing people's names right. Dr. Hale is a psychiatrist or therapist. Is she a psychiatrist or a therapist? Psychiatrist. Ah, I remember because she prescribed medication. And she has all the cassette tapes. She has filmed for, I think, over 10 years, all of her meetings with her patients, and she kind of listens to them, and we kind of get closer throughout the book. With each tape she listens to, we kind of get closer and closer with the plot of how she went missing. Spoiler alert, one of her patients was Trisha. Patricia, which I should have just called, because I was like, Trisha is a weird name. My first thought was when I saw this book in Barnes & Noble, I was like, Patricia is a weird name. Is it like short for Patricia? It was. I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to say her name in Barnes & Noble, because I was like, I've never seen Trisha be a name. Because her name was Patricia. Patricia!
7. Patricia!
And we find out that Patricia was one of her patients, and she helped her get rid of another patient who was blackmailing her. By the way, not get rid of. Patricia kidnaps one of her patients named EJ, which Trisha's husband's name is Ethan. So you're thinking the whole time EJ is Ethan, but then you get to the part where and you're like, oh, it's not. He can't be the killer. Because you think the whole book, because of how nonchalant he is about everything, that he's the person who did it. And you're like, okay. So he's not, of course. And then, I'm sorry, I'm shaking you. But he's not, of course. But Trisha kidnaps EJ. I forget what his name is. And basically brings him to Dr. Hale's house so she can do whatever she wants with him, because he's blackmailing her, of course. And we also find out about another patient of hers, and her son's trying to kill her, the patient. She believes he is. Turns out, oh, that's also a plot element. We'll get into that for a second. Turns out the patient, her son was trying to kill her, because her son's Ethan, and he did kill her. And so towards the book, it kind of is become clear, because there's a person from Dr. Hale's past that shows up at the house, who was staying in the house, basically. And we find out all of this stuff. I'm just gonna throw it at you real quick. Patricia was in a accident where she was a victim of she was in the cabin with her friends, and they all got killed, and she was harmed. Turns out, the reason why the book is called Never Lie is the stupidest reason. You get in the prologue, it's something about like Dr. Hale being able to tell if someone's lying, and the last line is like, never lie to me. And then you find out that Patricia, PT, I think is what the person's name is in the book, in the like transcripts. She was in an accident, but she lied about it. Her best friend and her boyfriend, I think, were killed, and she was hurt but they never caught who did it. Turns out she was the one who did it because they were having an affair. Is affair the right word? They were cheating on her. They were sleeping together, and she brought them out to the woods and killed them. And Dr. Hale kind of saw through the BS, saw that she was lying, all that jazz. And so she kind of, that's kind of why EJ was kidnapped. She kind of blackmails her into kidnapping him, henceforth and so on. And so Trisha was like, she was very curious on what Dr. Hale, I'm almost done. She was kind of curious what Dr. Hale did with EJ's body, so she kind of tried to persuade her into telling her, and then she killed her. Yep, she killed her. I was like, she's gonna die, isn't she? She's not just gonna disappear. Because at first I was like, obviously, what you think. Give it 1 second. Just give it a second. I know. There it is. I don't even remember what I was saying. But I was like, in the book, it's made out to seem like the person who was staying in the house, because the light was on in the house before they pulled up, that it was Dr. Hale. Nope. I won't spoil that part of the book. You can figure that out for yourself. But I see why everybody's like, it's very predictable after you read the first one, but it's so out there that you won't get it. I was thinking that everybody did it. Dr. Hale just killed herself and went missing to get away from her boyfriend. Ethan did it, and then at one time I was like, oh, Patricia did it, and I was like, no, she couldn't have done it, because you can't be this clueless, and this. Then it made sense when as you were reading the book. It's like so out there that it doesn't make sense, but when you read the book back, it only makes some sense, because she was very like adamant on not being in the house because she killed her. And you're like, and you think about it for a little while, and you're like, it can't be, because she's like so adamant on not staying in the house because she's in a dead woman's house. And then you're thinking to yourself, if she disappeared, how do you know she's dead? I'm spoiling this for you, but it's like throughout the book, she's like, I don't want to stay in a dead woman's house. I don't want to wear a dead woman's clothes. And then you have to think to yourself, how do you know she's dead if she just went missing? She's literally telling you she killed her. That's how she knows she's dead, because she killed her. Patricia. Oh my God. But that is all. What did I say? 13? I guess, books that I read this month. Thank you guys so much for watching my first ever YouTube video. If you like it, maybe? I don't know. That was so weird. I might cut that out. But thank you guys so much for watching my first ever video. I hope to make many more for you about the books that I read. Every single book that you see behind me are either books that I DNF'd that I will never read again, but I don't want to get rid of, or there's more down here, but you can't see them, or books that I have read and I've absolutely loved. The further you go down, the less I like the book. Either that, or I could not find space for them. And if it's like standalone, but they're all from the same author, they're lower. And yes, Anna Huang is all the way down there. I don't care for them as much anymore. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video, whenever that is. Bye. I'm gonna do the millennial video stop, and I'm gonna leave it in too.